6th of December 2185. Recently came back from verily 5 against the bots. I've been rallying recently with the major order against the Illuminate and Squids. However, I recently saw this SOS beacon come through, so I went planet side and decided to help my fellow Helldivers. I push to support Super Earth for all the major orders that we have. We want to do these to be able to continue to gain new resources, to spread managed democracy across the planets, and to fight against our enemies. I know some divers complain about trying to deal with the major orders and other divers not contributing to them. We have to keep in mind, though, and I say this for myself and for fellow Helldivers, an SOS beacon in the field should still be responded to. Those are fellow Helldivers in need of aid. They're out there in the field asking for our support, asking for you to dive into the hell with them, to drop in and to support them in the field. No matter what, we must support them and stand by their sides to help spread democracy. That's important for all of us to be able to do. So, while yes, those major orders are important, to lose a front because one diver could have been there to help support it is not something that we can do. As of this journal entry, the new Python Commandos Warbond has dropped from Super Earth, and thanks to the Ministry of Science and Defense for those. I hope to be able to update on that Warbond in the future once I've acquired it myself and gathered some intel from other divers in the field about what it is. I won't lie though, the M1000 Maxi Gun and the CQC9 defoliation tool both look absolutely amazing, and I know that divers in the field are going to have a heyday and love spreading that managed democracy once they get their hands on those weapons, one or both of them. Before heading to verily 5 against the bots, I was fighting against the Squids on a couple of ice planets trying to help hold for the major order for us. I won't lie, I couldn't tell you the name of it, but it was a hectic fight against those Squids. I found out in the field I personally enjoy being able to use the LIFT 850 jump pack and be kind of a scout for my fellow divers and being out in the field. To be able to go around finding different resources from the farms, the homes, the different cargo containers that are across the lands, and the rescue pods that drop. And we could pick up those resources and to be able to gather those for ourselves, for Warbonds, for Super Earth, and to make ourselves stronger and be able to do more out in that field. We lost a few divers on that planet. May Super Earth and the Wall of Martyrs keep them in remembrance. But we were able to extract information from the black box that had dropped from the shuttle and disrupt the Squids that held the area of the planet, destroying their warp ships and everything planet-side. It's wonderful to be able to do such managed democracy with my fellow Helldivers, diving out in the field like that and just being able to take out our enemies. It's just such a beautiful thing. How can you not like that managed democracy and to be able to do so much for Super Earth? A lot of my dives recently I've been using the CE07 Demolition Specialist body armor helmet with the Eagle's Fury cape to help spread my democracy. I won't lie, personally those extra grenades have been fantastic in combat against our enemies. Upon diving onto verily 5, I held my R36 Raptor strong, knowing that by my side I had my P2 Peacekeeper, and on my belt I had some G12 high explosive grenades ready to fight against our enemies. As I stated above, the LIFT 850 jump pack has been fantastic for me and personally a love of mine using out in the field to help spread democracy. That ability to move around the battlefield with speed and helping to spread that democracy across stars and planets, to me, has been my niche, as you may call it, to be able to use on the planet. Along with that, the M105 Stalwart has been a major staple for me currently, able to just mow down enemies with ease, with plenty of bullets to spare for the other bots, clankers, squids, and bugs that we see out in the field. The Gatling barrage has been instrumental for me, especially on the squid and the bot front. being able to take down those warp ships that are grounded and the bot fabricators has been instrumental to be able to help stop the enemy spread from taking over areas of the planet. Also, against a good group of clumped up enemies is fantastic and quite democratic to be able to spread that too. Finally, for my personal kit, the machine gun sentry has been a great drop and let it do its job against our enemies en masse. It sadly does not have the penetration against larger targets, but that's where my fellow Helldivers come in to cover those spots. I trust them on that front. And with that note, to any and all divers, when you're going out in that field, help support your divers, balancing out what you guys bring out of the field. Look, I know for me personally that stalwart is great against smaller enemies and groups of them, but believe me, I'm aware that against heavy armor on enemies, it does almost nothing at all. A lot of times ricocheting off of certain strong hides or armor. But you know what? When my fellow Helldiver has an autocannon, a grenade launcher, even the quasar laser cannon, look, we're able to cover a lot of ground and bases with those. You just gotta stick together, work together, while spreading that democracy. Upon landing on the planet, my fellow divers had already uploaded the data through the local relay. But they were fighting to take out the bots' bases. And so, dropping my gear, I lent my support and my weapons as best as I could. And I will say, each dive that we do, we learn and grow with each one. I personally have learned so much, especially against the bot fronts. They have been my personal bane, and an enemy that I just so wish to be able to take out. Between the devastators that they have, hulks trying to get into battle, and war striders just bombing, throwing other divers in with their explosives and everything, I want to turn all of those bots into scrap and just have them be a pile of metal and oil. If I could have been present during my level on Krieg, oh, knowing how I feel, I would have dove down into that planet side, stayed for days, weeks, whatever it took to wipe out every bot on that planet. I suppose for now, what I do against all fronts will have to be enough for Super Earth, and for our orders, and for managed democracy. As we progress through the planet in battling through the nighttime, eventually my divers and I just continued to wipe out bot fabricators, moving in from base to base as best as we could, taking on any fabricators, if they had stratagem disruptors, any dropship fabricators, relays, anything along the way. One fellow diver of mine was using his autocannon shots and just blasting one shot into the vents and destroying those bot fabricators. Oh, it was beautiful seeing them go up in flames in a glorious way as we're spreading that democracy. I apologize to the diver that was with me on that planet, but to you, I salute you and I say, wonderful job with that democracy. We continued on, moving around the west area that we had landed to the north and northeast, and just continued to spill that oil. Moving along, I had learned so much with other bots and battles. A lot of them have those venting and stuff. That's usually their weak spot. However, I've gotten to talk to a lot of really good veterans, those well past my years, on how to better take out bots and other of our enemies. For example, I know those hulks sometimes will give our fellow divers a lot of trouble, but that center eye, you get a couple of good shots against those, yep, you will take them down and turn them to scrap. Watch them go up in flames and glories. And personally for me, the devastators are still one of my biggest banes to deal with. That shield just blocks so many shots. But again, I give credit to my fellow Helldivers out in the field. I love all of you, and that we're spreading this managed democracy. But even against those guys, being able to use precision marksman rifles, or even a couple of explosive shots, taking out their head and the eye right past that shield, It's a beautiful thing to see a fellow Helldiver make that shot. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful to see. After progressing through and wiping out a lot of bot fabricators, different enemies against, I eventually, when I had a good time, pushed away from the group a little bit. I wanted to get that SSD hard drive backed up and brought over to our main objective to send it out through that communication relay. Along my way with dealing with all that, I did my best to pick up different samples dropped from fellow Helldivers. We extract with those later. Those samples go a long way to help spread managed democracy. And to my fellow Helldivers, come on, you guys have got to pick those up. Make sure we're taking care of those things properly. Make sure we're taking care of ourselves with that. Eventually, in some time, I was able to continue to reinforce my fellow Helldivers as they continued to work on the different objectives. And I just took out every bot that I get my sights on, just lining up those shots. My stalwart, my disruptor, everything I could use. It's beautiful. Eventually, I was able to get the SSD gathered and bring it over to the main tower. Took some time, but after getting it encoded, raising the satellite tower, getting it lined up, and from help with the fellow Helldiver that took control of the panel, we were able to transmit it and complete our objective. And that, to my fellow Helldivers, is working together for managed democracy. And it puts the tears in your eye to know that you've got your Helldivers' backs and being able to work together like that. Oh, it is a beautiful thing. Finally, after some time, we were able to push the objectives, took out the rest of the bases, and were able to evac the planet without too many issues. As I continue to dive for Super Earth, I'm so thankful to be able to share these stories and this information with other Helldivers and my experiences. Now, I know I technically am still pretty new into this field, but dang it, I am proud to be able to do what I can for Super Earth. And to other divers, I just want to say thank you. I greatly appreciate being able to gather information from your own experiences, from different stratagems that have worked for you, different weapons and everything that we can use together out in the field. As we continue to support each other and help spread managed democracy, I just hope that we keep in mind that every bit that we're doing helps. As I said at the top, I know that not all divers follow the major orders sometimes, but I actually understand it to a degree. You've got work to do, you've got vendettas and stuff. Certain divers may be losing friends that they've had in the field, other divers they've known for a planet or two. How would you not want to just keep spreading democracy and getting, I guess, revenge, if you want to call it that, or no, justice. It is that justice for our fellow Helldivers. It is that democracy and justice for Super Earth, for our citizens, for all of us while we're out in that field. All of us doing our part. A few of my fellow divers have seen these journals as they've been aboard my super destroyer, and I know there's been a lot of notes about trying to keep them trimmed within a reason. You know, hey, we're busy. We don't have a lot of time to listen to journals and to be able to follow along and hear out what all of a diver has to say. So believe me when I say I am trying to keep these within reason and short. I apologize if some of them are long, but some of the information I just have to get out, and I want to state what's been going on with some of these planets, stuff that other divers may not be aware of, or stuff that Super Earth can use to our advantage against our enemies. But believe me, I will try to keep them within reason. I just want to end with one last thing. For democracy, for managed democracy, for my Helldivers, for our super citizens and for Super Earth, I will continue to dive and do all that I can for us, for Super Earth, for managed democracy, and against our enemies, may they fall into the ground.